Hey, what's up? What's up? It's your girl Anique, and you're tuned in to Anique at Night. And tonight we're going to be talking about this video of Jada basically admitting that she had garments that she would wear and then she would resell them to customers. Now, one particular garment that she sent to a customer, it had her discharge in the middle of the crotch, and the customer complained about it. Now, in the middle of a feud with another woman, she brung it up, and to which somebody asked Jada about it and wanted to know if it was true or not true, to which she did admit. Now, I commented under the neighborhood talk in regards to this, and my comment ruffled some feathers. Now, it is oftentimes when it comes to these topics as it pertains to hygiene, there is always women who want to fight and want to square up based on me feeling like certain things are nasty. Now, before I play her video, I just want to make this very clear. As a woman, you experience discharge. Discharge is normal. Your body self-cleans itself. And one of the things when you are about to get your period, you're ovulating, there's discharge. Now, the odor of the discharge, the color of the discharge, etc., that determines whether or not you have a problem. Now, for me personally, I think that there are certain things as women that you need to do to navigate these occurrences. Now, I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about you guys after I give you guys the breakdown and what I said that triggered people and had them upset and telling me that I think I'm too perfect. I get on the internet and I come off like I'm too perfect. And I'm like, I'm sorry that I like a particular hygiene routine. You know what I mean? I'm sorry that my hygiene routine makes you think that I'm perfect. But hey, let's discuss. Okay? So let me just break it down and bring you guys up to speed on everything that happened to which we are here now. So there's a girl by the name of Gorgeous Doll. Gorgeous Doll is, I guess, a girl in Atlanta. She's, I believe, a stripper, and she recently dropped a clothing line. Now, the clothing line that she just recently dropped is, I guess, a velour sweatsuit. Okay, so this is the clothing line that she just dropped. So it's a white and gray velour sweatsuit. Hers says doll on the butt. And then it has a fur around the hood. Now, once she dropped this line, she then noticed that Jada also dropped a line that was a velour sweatsuit with fur around the hood. Now, once she seen that Jada dropped her line that had the velour sweatsuit with fur around the hood, she called Jada out and said that she copied her. Now, they have been going back and forth as it pertains to inspiration. What's a copy? What's inspiration? And a lot of people saying that this is something that has been out since baby fat time. Now, somebody who grew up around the baby fat era, I can assure to you that this was popular, the whole fur around the hood, boots with the fur. It just wasn't the boots with the fur, it was the jackets with the fur and all that. This was a whole era that was going on when I was in middle school. So within the midst of Gorgeous Doll calling out Jada, saying that she copied her, there's a lot of people telling Gorgeous Doll, like, girl, you ain't the inventor of a removable fur. Now, mind you, I literally own a jacket in my closet that has removable fur. Like, no cap in my rap. Like, before they start going back and forth, I've had the jacket since about 2016, and it has detachable fur. But anyways, she was basically stating that her innovation was the fact that the fur removes. Now, anybody who knows that when you get these jackets with fur, if once you put them in the washing machine, you try to dry them, the fur is cooked. So what people started to do, which a lot of companies started to do, is they started to make the outfits that had the fur detachable. So although the girl Gorgeous Doll is coming at Jada and she's basically saying that she innovated that, I'm going to be the first to tell you she did not. But that's kind of how the feud started. So Jada Wada then clapped back, and she basically stated that, you know, everybody gets inspiration from people. She said, and I'm not going to go down every single receipt, but I'm just kind of breaking down how we got to the yeast infection garment thing. So Jada Wada clapped back at her, and she said, the only girls that are being mad about people like copying inspo is the girls who items ain't selling. Jada was like, my items are selling. So there's several big box brands that basically steal my ideas, and I'm not tripping because I'm getting a lot of sales. This is what Jada Wada said to her. She was like, girl, you only mad because your stuff ain't really doing numbers, X, Y, and Z. To which her, like I said, her and the Gorgeous Doll girl start going back and forth. To which Gorgeous Doll brung up, I guess, a situation where she states that Jada Wada sent a garment to a customer that had yeast infection in it. So let me pull that video up, and then we're going to go to the video that Jada admits it.
While we're on the topic of yeast infections, right? Didn't you send out an order to one of your customers that you had already worn and it had yeast infection residue inside of it? While we're on the topic of yeast infections, right? Didn't you send out an order to one of your customers that you had already worn and it had yeast infection residue inside of it?
All right. So somebody in the original video, when she posted it, she was replying to somebody who said Jada Wada, she basically responds to everything else, and I wonder if she'll respond to this. To which somebody went to Jada and they asked her about it. So over on Jada's TikTok, somebody sent her a question, and they said, did you actually send out a set with your yeast in it? And to which Jada basically says that she was pregnant with her son. She had a lot of discharge going on. She was tired. And the garment kind of went out by one of her people that was working for her. They sent it out. Let me play it and let's go.
Literally a humiliation ritual. Oh my God, that was literally a humiliation ritual. When I went through that, that probably was one of the that was the only embarrassing thing I've ever really been through that like really broke me, like ew. And what made it worse was because it was like nothing I could do to do damage control. So that's why I say it was a humiliation ritual. And like the amount of people that started following me and knowing who I was because of that situation was insane. Like, I think that was like the pivotal, craziest shit in my career that actually like elevated me, like promoted me to a new level. Like, humiliation rituals really do be real, like no funny shit. So yeah, I say all that to say I was 8 weeks pregnant at the time, and all I was doing was like sleeping my life away, like literally sleeping. And I remember this shit like it was yesterday because it was such a traumatic time period for me. But yeah, I was just like sleeping so much. And I'm only talking about this now because I truly do not care. Like, when I see it, I literally be dying laughing because it's like, damn, like how the fuck did that happen? But whatever. Anyways, so yeah, I'm 8 weeks pregnant, and my friend at the time used to handle all my, I think it was either Depop or Mercari, whatever. I was like reselling clothes that I would wear. If you know me, I've been reselling clothes that I wear since I was 16 years old. And I've never had an issue like this because I always get my clothes dry cleaned. Like, even now to this day, like everything I wear, I get dry cleaned. So that's how you know it was a total mistake.
All right. So I'm going to stop her right there. So at this point, she's saying that whenever she would have certain garments, and you guys heard her, but I'm just pausing it to kind of like give it a breather. And hopefully the video will like load up because it has those blue things going. So let's give the video a little time to load up. So there are a lot of celebrities that resell their clothes. A lot of celebrities get gifted items. They wear items. They don't want to wear them again because, you know, they've already been photographed in them and things like that. So a lot of celebrities, Kim Kardashian included, and a lot of big celebrities, what they'll do is they will resell some of the outfits that they've already worn to customers. So she's saying, listen, I was on one of those reseller websites or whatever where you wear the clothes and then you don't want it no more, so you resell it to somebody else. Then she goes into how she ended up selling one of her garments that had yeast in there to a customer and how it was a mistake. Now, again, my response to this had a lot of the girlies upset. And they said, girl, you act like you so perfect. And we're going to get to that, but I just kind of wanted to break that part down. Let me bring it back a little bit, and then we'll go forward. And I'll tell you what I said that got the girlies mad.
If you know me, I've been reselling clothes that I wear since I was 16 years old. And I've never had an issue like this because I always get my clothes dry cleaned. Like even now to this day, like everything I wear, I get dry cleaned. So that's how you know it was a total mistake. So I had a stack of clothes that needed to go to the dry cleaners, and I had a stack of clothes that was ready to be shipped out. My friend at the time who handled my Depop Mercari, my resale app, whatever the fuck app it was, he took both stacks of clothes, but I'm knocked out on the couch sleep, and he had a key to my house. Like we were that close. He had a key to my house, so he just came in, let me stay asleep, took the clothes, and left. But I used to be on his ass because I'm all about like making sure the customer is happy, shipping out things fast. So he, you know, he's not a girl. So he just packing stuff up and shipping it out. I checked the crotch area. Like the way that has humbled me to now, like I don't play about leaving my panties nowhere. I don't play about I don't play that shit. Ever since that happened, like it definitely was character development for sure. So yeah, he packs my stuff, all that stuff up and sends it out. So I'm just scrolling one day and I'm like, mind you, it was a time where like I just was being attacked, like overly attacked. And then that happened. And I'm like, there's no way this could happen. Like literally no way. And on top of that, you know, when you're pregnant, you are like extremely more lubricated down there. Like natural juices be flowing. And I didn't have like, they tried to say it was like BV or anything. I'm pretty sure if that girl could come to the stand, she would not say that shit stunk. First of all, if it was BV, it's not going to stink days after. Well, you know, I don't know. I've never experienced no shit like that ever in my life for it to still be stinking days after. Like, no. I just was like, wet. And you know what I'm saying? Like, we're girls. Like, literally, we're just girls. But yeah, I would never sell or go through that again in this day and age because I just have so many protocols and things intact to never make that mistake again. And if you can tell, I've never had another crazy ass, outlandish ass moment like that since that time when I was like literally a kid for real. And it just made me get on my shit all across the board. Like I don't play no more with my assistants. Like
all right, so you guys get the gist. She was talking a little bit more. I think there's like 1 minute left in the video. But she says that, you know, since then it humbled her. She learned to never leave her panties around. She learned to move different and have different protocols. And she stated that her normal protocol is to send discharge panties straight to the cleaners and let them clean it. And therefore, when she sends it to a person on her site, therefore, they would not have discharge panties. And therefore, now she realizes, you know, to do a different thing. So under this post, under the neighborhood talk, my comment reads as follows. I said, every day I learn parents fail their kids in the hygiene department. No garment leaves the bathroom without a pre-rinse out of the crotch if it's dirty. Also, if you are discharging, use a panty liner. Too many of y'all throwing nasty panties straight in the dirty clothes, and that is yuck. So a lot of girls got mad at me because they feel as though, what is the big deal if you throwing your dirty panties in the laundry? And to that, I guess I have to apologize because I just was raised that way. And, you know, to which people started coming at me and they're like, oh, women discharge every day. And I'm like, I don't discharge every day. You know, they're like, girls discharge every day. You're not supposed to wear a panty liner. And then I'm like, okay, don't wear one. But my whole thing is, I I was raised, and let me just tell you how I was raised, because again, the girl said I try to come off like I'm too perfect. Like, oh, you're always talking like you're so perfect. And one thing, like I said, I apologize that my mom raised me with certain standards. I don't know. Since I was a little girl, I've always had a hygiene routine. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. From very young, when I started having a period, when I started having discharge, when I started having a period, my mom made me follow a hygiene routine. This same hygiene routine I have followed since I've become an adult, and it's the same thing that I teach my daughter. For me, whenever there was an accident inside of any type of panties, let's say you're on your period and you accidentally have like a oopsie type of moment. Since a child, I've always been taught that you clean your panties out. You don't just put period stain panties in the damn dirty clothes. You don't just put panties with discharge straight into the dirty clothes. That's what I was taught. So I apologize for coming off as too perfect from the way that my mom taught me. My mom taught me that if you have an accident on your period, you take peroxide, you put peroxide on your panties, and you clean your panties out. You let them dry, and then once they dry, you put them in the dirty clothes. All right? Same thing with discharge. I've always been taught since a little girl, I want to say starting from when I started to get my period, because the few days before your periods come on, you get discharge. The few days when you're coming off of your period, you get discharge. I've always been taught since a little girl that your panties go in the tub with you. That's something that I've been taught since a child. My mom taught me that if you have any, because my mom, when I was a little girl, she was the one washing my clothes. My mom always taught me that you don't have nobody touching no dirty panties. You don't, as a woman, she always taught me that's not like my mom taught me what's ladylike and what's not ladylike. From a child, my mom always taught me that it is not ladylike to put your panties in the dirty clothes like that. You don't take panties off that have something in the crotch and just throw them in the thing. She's always taught me that. She said, and especially when she's the one washing my clothes, she's like, I don't want to go in there picking up your panties and your panties have something in it, and I'm touched. I don't like, so my mom took me in the bathroom at a child. This is when I was a child. She took me in the bathroom. She taught me how to wash my panties out. Till this day, that is something that has carried me my entire life. Like, I've always operated like that. So now that I have a daughter that is a little lady, you know, she gets her period or whatever, I teach her the same thing. I teach her how to wash her panties out. And, you know, my mom, she just used to have, like, you know, peroxide in the house. I would have to go search for the peroxide and get it. My daughter has her own bathroom. So I buy my daughter her own peroxide that goes in her bathtub. This stays in your bathtub. When your peroxide gets low, let me know. And I teach it to her. I'm washing your clothes. I don't want to go in there and grab things that are stained. I feel that's the same thing when it comes to sending your garments to a dry clean. If that, you know, but again, I have to apologize because Black people are not a monolith. Okay, everybody doesn't have the same hygiene routine, and everybody grew up different. So I have to remind myself that the way that you grew up, everybody mama ain't taught them that. Okay, so I apologize because the girl said that I try to act like I'm too perfect, and I had to realize, and I'm like, damn, am I coming off like I'm too perfect? Because in my head, when I heard that, I'm like, that's gross. Like, ew, nasty, the fuck? You know, like they're like she's saying that it taught her not to do that, but I was taught your panties don't leave the bathroom like that. That's just what I was taught. Like, you know what I mean? So when I hear that you peeled off some clothes, you put them in a pile, even to go to another person to dry clean them, in my head, I thought, ew, gross, yuck. You know what I mean? Like, that's nasty. But again, I have to remember how I was raised is not how everybody else was raised. I think that it's gross to peel some panties off your coochie and it got white stuff in the middle, and then you send it to a service to handle your dirty panties or dirty clothes, or you wear some leggings, you don't wear panties, and then you send them to somebody else to handle it. I think that's also nasty. I was taught that certain things have a pre-rinse. I tell y'all a story time, right? When I was, before I started being consistent on YouTube, before I started, you know, I used to do clothes, right? I used to create clothes. I had a whole clothing line. So for my birthday, I wanted to have a fashion show. At this point in time, I had been selling clothes. I was doing really well. I was getting a lot of orders. At this time, I had, I think I had a photo shoot, and this was way before the new baddies era that Natalie Nunn is in now. But I had Natalie Nunn. She had modeled in some of my custom clothes. I had different models modeling in my clothes, and I would just make certain garments so that I can, you know, sell them, and I would have different people modeling in my clothes that I created. So there was this guy who owned a club in Hollywood, and he called himself Liking Me. It was an older, and this is when I realized that I'm not built for the sugar baby life. You know what I mean? Like, I realized at that moment, I'm not built to be a sugar baby, okay? So there's this guy, he was an older Italian man, and he was extremely overweight, right? And so I was in the party scene. He saw me. I guess he had a liking to me or whatever, and he was trying to date me. And, you know, I was telling him how I design clothes, and for my birthday, I want to have a fashion show. So he allowed me to have a fashion show at his club free of charge. I was so excited. I went and got models. I went and got different people to model my clothes. Now, I'm up and coming. I don't have like a bunch of garments to like give out all of my custom made pieces to all the models. So it was just basically something for the models to put the clothes on, walk down the runway, take the clothes off, right? So I had a fashion show, and the models put on my clothes. When I got back and I was like, you know, packing up and folding up my clothes, I got back one of the garments, and it was full of discharge in the middle of the coochie part. And I was so livid. I was so pissed because I'm like, as a woman, we know if we a little more moisturized down there. So I was mad that you knew that you was going to give me back these clothes, and you didn't even tell me that you got a hole full of gunk-da-dunk in the middle. And you just gave that to me for me to handle it. I was pissed off. I was mad. I was upset because as a woman, I didn't understand why you would wear the clothes and not even try to wipe it out. At least go to the bathroom, because you know when you have discharge when it's wet or whatever, like you shouldn't try to wipe it with a little nothing. She just gave me the garment. I'm handling the garment, and it's a whole, I was livid. I was upset because I felt like that was kind of disrespectful. You know, like that's kind of disrespectful. Like you didn't even tell me that you know what I'm saying? And like, and granted, you know, if I wasn't at the level to where they could wear the clothes and then I could just give them, because I was making custom pieces. So it wasn't like a situation where certain people will have people model stuff and they have a whole bunch of multiple ones. I didn't have that. I had different custom, one of a kind pieces that they modeled. Fast forward, you know, so I don't know. I just, when it comes to certain stuff like that, I feel like as women, we just have to do better. Now, I don't feel like I'm perfect. I just feel like there's just certain things that I wouldn't do. Like, I wouldn't discharge in clothes and then give it to, I wouldn't even feel comfortable doing that from the way that I was raised. I would go to the bathroom, girl, I'm sorry, but I had, you know, I had a little accident, you know, and try to wipe it off with something. But to say all that, that was when I realized, outside of that, I realized I wasn't built for the sugar baby life, okay? So after he allowed me to use his club and he didn't charge me nothing, child, he tried to go in for a kiss. He was trying to, you know what I'm saying, get some sugar. And at that moment, I realized, baby, I ain't cut out for the, I'm not cut out for the sugar baby life. Child, I had to let that one go. You know, I had to let that was a trick that wanted sugar, and I could not do it. But anyways, there was another topic that was posted, and it was about going to bed with deodorant on. All right, so let me pull up this post, because this was another post where people tried to argue with me about hygiene. And I just did not understand the debate. So let me pull this up. Hold on. Let me pull up this other post real quick, because a female tried to argue with me and debate with me about this, and I'm just like, girl, what are we talking about here? So the neighborhood talk posted up a post, and this woman said, wait, people wear deodorant to go to sleep, ? And in the same thread, I commented to one of the people who commented to this post. And okay, so hold on, let me pull it up. All right. So the girl posted, wait, people wear deodorant to go to sleep? And then to that, somebody commented and they said, there are no business hours to personal hygiene and or upkeep. So I commented under this post and I said, this the one. This the one. So I'm commenting to somebody saying there's no business hours to personal hygiene and upkeep. And somebody got under there and tried to debate me about why as a woman, she was like, you sweat that much that you need deodorant on when you go to sleep? And I'm like, I said, it's not about me sweating, because I'm not a sweater. Like, I don't sweat a lot. I'm not one of those people that just perspire and have wet underarms and just be sweating a whole, that's not me. So, but I have a normal hygiene routine. My hygiene routine is if I get in the shower, I get out the shower, I put on deodorant, you know? So the girl kept arguing with me and she was basically like, but you shouldn't be sweating that much to where you need deodorant on right after when you're going to sleep. I said, what part of hygiene routine do you not understand? If I get in the shower, I get out of the shower, I put on deodorant. If I get in the shower in the morning, I get out of the shower, I put on deodorant. Whenever I put my body in the water, bathe, dry off, I put on deodorant. It's a hygiene routine. It's a routine that happens no matter what time of day I take a shower. So she was sitting there trying to debate. She was like, but you shouldn't be sweating so much that you need to wear it when you go to sleep. I said, what part of hygiene routine don't you understand? It ain't about sweat. You keep talking about sweat. I'm telling you, it's a routine. It's something that's ingrained in me. It's something that since a baby, I've had a hygiene routine. Ever since I started wearing deodorant, it's a routine. Get in the shower, get out the shower, put on deodorant. It's a routine. It's not something that, oh, I'm sweating, let me put on deodorant, or, oh, I sweat a little bit, let me put, no. Before the sweat happens, it's a routine. So then she got, I guess she called herself getting offended because I'm like, girl, why you keep talking about sweating at night when I'm telling you there's no business hours? All I'm doing is agreeing with the woman who made the post and saying that there's no business hours to hygiene, and that's my routine. Then the bitch gonna say, well, that's, didn't you say on your YouTube channel that you had a fibroid? And, you know, cause I was like, I'm sorry. So again, too, I'm like, I said, even if you're not a person that sweats, when you're asleep, you're kind of like, you're making movements. So to me, in my opinion, if you don't put on deodorant when you get out of bed, even if you're not a person that sweats a lot, I don't think that by the morning time you may, you moving your arms this way, that way, or whatever, in the morning time, and you put deodorant on top, I don't think that you're the freshest, just to me, you know? And so that's just my opinion, and you're trying to debate about my hygiene routine. So after I said that, then she was like, oh, didn't you have a fibroid? Like, bitch, you musty hoe. I don't use more or less deodorant than you. I just don't wait until the morning to put it on. Like, it's the same amount being used, but I just don't wait into the morning. Like, you're not using less deodorant than me because you wait till the morning. You're still using the same amount of deodorant. I just don't wait until it's tangy and I put it on. So, there's people in the comments saying, let your pores breathe and all that. And if that's what you do, then fine. I'm a firm believer in, I take lemon to the pits. I detox my own pits, but I'm not detoxing it and just going around. Now, if you're a natural deodorant, I don't want to do the aluminum, that's on you. If you want to wait until you get up and you put deodorant on top after you wake up in the morning, that's on you. That's not how I operate. That is not how I operate, okay? So, yeah, so the girls be mad whenever, hygiene is talked about, and they feel like I'm just so perfect. And it's just not that. It's just, my mama didn't play that. My mama don't play that. Like, when I was little, there was a routine. Like, there was no, and then there'll be people who say, like, they bathe every few days. They bathe. My mama didn't play that shit. But I also have to remember, so maybe, the parents who have 5, 6, 7 kids, they made y'all not bathe every day to conserve water. I don't know. I was the only child, so I guess I have to keep that in mind as well. I was the only child, and my mama didn't play that. Like, every single day, you're bathing. There's no every other day. There's no this day, that day, da-da-da-da. Every single day, you're getting your ass in some water. Like, that's just what I was raised on. Like, that's just, you know what I mean? And I was also raised that, like, after a while, like, when your deodorant stop working, or, after a while, you do have to detox your armpits. I was told, you do like a little reset. You do the baking soda, you do the lemon, and you know, you detox your armpits, but I'm not one of the natural deodorant girlies. I'm not one of the natural deodorant girlies. I'm not, you know, if you feel like that's going to cause you to have a fibroid, you don't want to have a fibroid, and you feel like whatever is inside the aluminum or whatever is inside a deodorant, you want to be a little tangy, that's on you. You know, I got a fibroid, you feel like it contributes to fibroids or whatever, and you feel like, you know, you want to do the natural deodorants, you don't want to wear deodorant, hey, that's on you. I had a surgery and I am just fine. I'm not doing that. I'm taking a shower, I'm putting on deodorant. If there's discharge in the panties, they get cleaned out. And then some girl gonna argue with me, and she was like, how is it dirty to put your dirty panties in the dirty laundry? And I'm like, that's just, ask my mom, girl, that's just how I was raised. You don't put that in there like that. And then your yeast is then rubbing off on your other garments and all that. No, like, put that on the thing. Somebody said it's a proven fact. Actually, it's not proven fact. It is something that people have speculated is a contributing factor, but it's not a proven fact. And I don't give a damn if it's a proven fact or not. Fibroid is something that I'm going to be willing to risk. I'm not being musty. Okay? It's a proven fact. Do what's best for you, baby. I'm going to be proven to still use the same routine, because here's the thing. Everybody is so health conscious to certain things, but the same people who will be the musty, don't wear deodorant people because it's aluminum will be the same people eating McDonald's, or the same people who are doing other unhealthy things, the same people who are drinking alcohol every day. Like, you'll drink alcohol every day, you'll pop pill, you'll snort coke, you'll do all the bullshit, but you draw the line at deodorant. Girl, bye. I'm gonna wear my deodorant. Okay? The people will be like, they'll be like, oh no, you know, there's like, I was at the store one day, and I went to get a green bell pepper. I was in the store and I went to go get a green bell pepper. There was a guy in the store, mind you, he smelled like a fucking distillery. Like, you can smell the alcohol coming out of his pores. He was like one of those people that just drink so much to the point where it was coming out of his pores. I was getting a green bell pepper. This ninja came up to me talking about how green bell peppers are not healthy for our bodies. And I'm just looking at him like, sir, you smell like a whole distillery. Like, I'm going to take my chances with a green bell pepper while you are harming your liver and whatever else. Like, all of the nerve. But it'll be people like that who they'll be so health conscious to where don't eat a green bell pepper, but you literally have alcohol coming out of your pores, so much so to where you smell like a damn distillery. But a bell pepper is where you draw the line. Like, stop. Stop. Like, stop. It's just stop. But anyways, I wanted to come talk about that because the girl said, you always acting too perfect. I used to support her, but hold on, let me read out what she said. Let me read out what she said to me, child. She said, oh yeah, and then it was people who said, I'm just saying anything. The girl said, I'm just saying anything, like I'm lying about panties being washed out. Girl, no. This is what the girl said. Hold on. She said, girl, you get up on here too perfect for me. That one thing don't mean nobody parents failed them. The fuck? Tons of Black business owners, doctors, and lawyers that probably never heard of doing that till today got through life just fine. I peep you in the comments a lot with your perfectness, downing other women. You're very entertaining and smart, but a bit annoying. And then somebody said, you ate this comment. I was a fan of her YouTube and still is, but she definitely comes off too perfect on social media and loves to be sarcastic, but most of the time it be for no reason. I remembered I commented in support of something she said and she got smart as fuck with me. I had to tell her, girl, chill out with all that. I'm agreeing with you. Why you mean girling? And I'm your fan. I'm so glad somebody pointed that out. Thank you. And I feel like, girl, I'm so sorry that I come off too perfect to y'all. But to the girl who said that you was agreeing with me and I snapped, girl, I apologize, okay? Because sometimes people be trying to be funny in the comments, and then sometimes it's how you word stuff. Like, you can be agreeing with me, but the way that you write it, it could sound like you being funny. And so whenever you're typing something on the internet, and that's something that, I gotta stay out of the comments sometimes, because there has been a time where somebody wasn't saying something disrespectful, but the way that it was worded, like, if you read it, it's like, is this, you know what I mean? Like, I have my moments to where I be like, is this bitch being funny? Like, are you trying to be funny right now? And then I'll read it back and I'll be like, oh, well, maybe she wasn't trying to be funny. My bad. Sometimes when you read in comments, sometimes you can misread some stuff. I'm sorry. Play as fuck up. My bad. Okay? My bad. But oftentimes when people be writing comments, a lot of times people be trying to be funny. So if I misread your comment and you wasn't really trying to come for me and I felt like you was trying to be funny, I'm sorry. Because, I like to tussle. So I apologize. But no, I didn't break this. Child, not me breaking my little stand that I have right here. But anyways, let me sip my pure cranberry juice. I love me some pure cranberry juice ever since I started drinking it. It is just the only way I like to drink cranberry juice now. But somebody said I'm an Aquarius too. I understand. Somebody said you definitely did it to me before, Anique, but I love you and I've made the same mistake. My bad. I apologize. Because I'm not going to say that I have not misread something before. I'm sorry. But what I've also done too is accidentally replied to the wrong comment. That's another thing that pisses me off too with social media is sometimes somebody will make a comment. Like, this is on Instagram, by the way. Somebody will make a comment, right? And then somebody below that comment will agree with me. And then I'll reply to the person who was talking shit, but it'll fall under the comment that somebody agreed with me. And if the person has their @ button off, because on Instagram, that's another pet peeve that I have. On Instagram, if somebody has it to where you can't mention them back, when you hit reply, it won't have their username. Y'all get what I'm saying? So on Instagram, when somebody says something to you on Instagram and you reply back to them, if they have their mentions off to where you can't @ them, you'll reply, but it won't have a name attached to it that you're replying to. So something that happened to me before is like a person will talk shit, a person underneath will agree, and then I'll reply to the person above, but because they have their mentions off, when it says, when I write the thing out, it doesn't have their @ on it. So a person will get confused, like, is she talking to me? So that has happened too. I think, and this is my pet peeve with social media, I don't think that you should be able to comment to people if your mentions is off. I cannot, that is one of the things that I cannot stand. It boils my blood to the core. Another thing, I think that every single person who comments under somebody else's page should only be able to comment from their real page. That's just my thing. Whenever I comment, I'm not one of those people that comments to talk shit under a Finsta. The only time that I have ever utilized a Finsta, ever in life, and I don't even use Finstas no more because, child, it is what it is, okay? The only time that I have ever used a Finsta is to peep what a nigga that I'm fucking doing. And I don't want him to know that I'm checking for him like that. That's the only time that I feel like it's appropriate that you could use a Finsta. That's the only time I think that it's okay. When you dealing with a guy or you dealing with a girl and you don't want her to know that you really on her body like that and you checking her stories out like that, then you might want to log into a little Finsta to check and see what's going on, what they posting. You don't want them to know that you really own it like that. I feel like that's the only approved way to utilize it. I don't think that you should be able to talk shit to people under fake accounts. I feel like that's buster shit. I feel like that's corny. If you have a job, because a lot of people will say, oh, I can't say certain stuff from my real page because of my job. Well, if you have a job that prevents you from saying certain stuff and you can't say it from your real account, then shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. If you got a job and you can't talk shit from your real page, then shut the fuck up.